Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 121 of On the Backs of Gods. I'm your DM, Jillian, and today, as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. Um, I think I'll give us a little recap, and we could jump back into things, back into a nice, quiet night around camp. Uh, Last session, the party gathered at Rhodes Respite in the town of Garterholm, where they encountered Russ and his crew that he is currently traveling with. It seems that Keld and Nix already knew Russ and had an encounter before, where it seems both of them kind of think the other wanted to fight them, and it could be because one of them wanted to fight them. Unclear of who started that loop. But Nix ended up getting a large sum of money from gambling with that group, and then had to be escorted out of the bar for whatever reason. Um, but it seems that does not Russ doesn't seem bothered by anything that happened, or he's hiding it incredibly well. Um, but is happy to continue talking to and gambling with everyone. The stakes get incredibly high. Russ wins a large sum of money, and then Nix wins an astronomically larger amount of money. And everything has to cool down after that because, once again, a large sum of money hit the table and then a pocket, and then it was over. But the night consisted of drinking and dancing, and Fen and Russ bonding as friends, as Russ is referring to it as, because he asked Fen to shoot an arrow at him so he could show everyone his cool trick while he was completely shit faced. And it worked as Fen shot an arrow at this guy, and he was able to catch it and throw it back to Fen. Um,
Which was
and
badass as hell and could not have happened had Fen not shot the arrow at him, so.
It's very true.
True.
So they are bonded in a cool, dudes bonding over doing a cool trick. Can't be topped. But it
It's a
seems that
hold my beer moment, you know? It,
yeah,
it just seals it.
the night goes by. I don't want to say uneventfully. It's eventful, but it's just a fun night in a tavern. There are some sad drunken back and forths at points in the night. Um, there are personal spaces invaded, um, but everyone makes it to the next day very hungover. Um, More suspicious, less suspicious, unclear. But because you are heading in the same direction, and now Nyx is Russ's +1 to the party you guys were thinking of infiltrating, we'll use that word, and said, yeah, we'll totally find you guys a way in. Sure, yeah. Uh, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Please.
You all
Please?
begin traveling together northwards. All of you have a fine time on the road, don't encounter anything of terrible note or over the top good note. Um, Conversations are had, friendships are forged. The night ends or begins, unclear, with everyone arriving and setting up camp, uh, with Russ taking Nyx aside to teach her how they dance at the stupid party. Uh, and during this, it seems he gets a bit emotional and kind of Uno reverse cards when Nyx asks what's wrong, and Nyx ends up telling him about the ice curse on her arm, and then he backs out of saying what he was upset about and says that he will talk about it later. I believe he promises the next night.
He did.
He did promise the next night. So, take that as you will. But he kind of peels away from Nyx, pushes back all of that, what you saw, that emotional reaction, and just rejoins the group happy and goes over to eat and seems to just be loud and in conversation, which is kind of most of his setting is loud and in conversation. So he immediately goes back into that, and that's where we're going to pick up. But I'm just going to go ahead real quick and kind of give you kind of the layout of where everyone else is in space and time, as Russ has started to make his way back over. At this time, after scouting, Dagfin and Randall have both returned to the group and are sitting around the fire. Some drinks have been provided. You see that they are not overindulging as you saw the night before. Nobody seems to be going over 2 drinks. You know, business, I suppose. But
Plus, we're in the wild and not in a tavern tonight,
yeah,
so.
it's a different setting. They
Mm-hmm.
don't have a fancy bubble. You can see that they have actual tents set up. They rough it. But currently, you can see Brynja is like finishing a bowl of food, and then she stands up and she walks about maybe 4 yards away, and kneels down sort of in a little bit of a clearing and just kind of like bows her head for a moment. Uh, and you can hear people who have perception in this group 16 and up can hear that she is murmuring, and people with insight 16 and up, you can tell that it is questions. So you can see that she is talking to herself, and they are questions that she is asking. You can also see Randall is currently, after he finishes a drink, making the rounds and is starting to set the horses up for a night, putting like nice blankets on top of them, making sure they're fed, just going through the motions of being just basically talking to these horses like it's just like a lineup of lady friends. It's just like, ladies, blanket, and just begins to just talk very sweetly to the horses.
Delightful.
And then Gleb, after finishing his food, has pulled out like a little notebook, and it looks like he's sketching, just doing little doodles. And next to him is Dagfin, who is currently knitting. That is where everyone is in space. And the thing is, all of this is covered with conversation. They have not stopped talking, and most of it is of no consequence. Um, but each of them sort of falls into an easy habit. Is there anything you guys wanted to do before the bubble is set up? If not, that's fine.
I believe did we have our night flight already?
I
Yeah,
believe you've
we
already
did.
done your
Okay.
night flight.
Yes. Yeah, y'all.
Because you gotta die.
I'm content. Yeah, you got a sobriety die.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm working on myself.
Therapy flight.
Yeah, then
Hell
you
yeah.
sassed me and told me we weren't friends.
Hey, feeling healthier, getting sassier.
There you go. The sass comes with the health. You can't have one without the other.
It's true. And eventually Brynja gets up and rejoins the group and sort of looks at Russ and says, "We're good." And he kind of nods and then goes back into casual conversation loudly.
Interesting.
Anything else besides just casual conversation? And that's fine if it's just casual conversation. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just casual conversation. Probably Nana has some
It's
things to
super
chat about with
frustrating.
Randall while she's taking care of Thick Biscuit and he's taking care of the other
Yeah.
horses. You know, like horse people do.
You know, horse people.
Horse people.
Nana is fully embracing her life as now as a horse person.
I mean, it's you have to once you make a horse friend. You know, you have to invest in the relationship.
It's true. You know, on the topic of horse, I'm going to talk to you as DM, just really quick.
Sure.
I would never kill Jenny unless she was put in danger. Unless Fen made a choice to be like, she's going to fly in and distract an enemy, or she is going to try and deliver a letter in a dangerous place, you know, that type of thing.
Right.
That is
Through
the
a
only
fire
threat.
or something. Right,
literally, like, combat happens, Jenny happens to be there. Jenny is safe. She is.
Sure.
She has plot armor, guys. Jenny
That's
is
fair.
the big bad
I
evil guy.
understand.
She has plot armor.
Oh.
She's fine. She's fine. I'm fine with that.
Thick Biscuit
She's
is a
been working
slightly
with
different
Bosch the whole
story.
time.
He's a bigger target, and
He is a bigger target.
Also...
He's important. If you
Yes.
bring him into combat, I will attack him because
That's
it
fair.
is a
I
horse
understand.
that you're riding. So I just
Right.
want it all on the table that
Okay.
this horse could be in danger and is a better target than a little bird of no consequence.
That makes very valid
I
sense,
just
and I
want it all
appreciate you
on
getting
the
it on the
table.
table. Of course.
It's just nice
Honestly,
to put it on the table.
Thick Biscuit has been just fine as the driving force for our cart thus far on the road.
It's only
and
been attacked like once.
I don't have immediate plans to involve him in further conflict. He's a
Yeah.
sweet boy. He doesn't deserve the stress. We will see what the future holds. Perhaps we will need to steal our hearts at some point in the future, but I'm...
Sorry,
Okay.
Thick Biscuit, you gotta take one for the team.
No! I hope not! I really
You know,
hope not. You know,
the
I
final
might be
sacrifice
jinxing myself
by
now.
Thick
Oh
Biscuit.
God, no, no! I
yeah.
don't want
Anywho,
it.
I just
I don't
wanted
want
I
that.
just wanted to put out my rule on pets and mounts is that pets are kind of different than pet mounts.
Right. Understandable. Yes.
That's all. But I'm assuming then you all put up the bubble, to which then, like a pane of glass, Russ's face is pressed up against it. I'm just curious if you would let me just fucking wail on this thing. I've always wanted to wail on one of these.
Does that do anything?
It shouldn't, but I want to try.
Roshan?
Roshan, it's your tent.
Yeah, it's your bubble.
Your decision.
Someone give him a thumbs up.
Put a thumbs
Hand
up
just
out the bubble.
slowly.
Give it a shot. Why not?
All right. And just pulls out this like large morning star with like the flecks of gold at the top around the orb, and
Holy
just
shit.
pulls back and just full tilt begins to
Oh,
just
boy.
hammer into the side of this thing. Like if it was anything besides a magical orb, oh boy, just
This
like
would be nothing.
this would be an issue. And it's kind of scary to watch, being in like a kind of fishbowl situation and somebody aggressively tapping on the glass. Just like this like constant wailing, and there's just like a gentle wub sound from where you are. And eventually
This is interesting. We've never really had anybody attack the bubble while we were in the bubble.
You've
This is
never
good
had
to
anyone
know.
attack the bubble. And then he like puts his weapon
Astonishingly
down and
enough,
starts.
no!
He like goes back a bit and then takes a running start and then jumps and is currently like starfished on top of the bubble and just trying to keep on top.
Oh no.
Roshan stayed in the bubble. It wasn't far from here. When we left the last town last time, and we were accosted by the flying things in the air and the bats with people faces.
Oh, those fuckers. Ugh.
I'm not sure anything attacked the bubble then either, but Roshan was inside when that happened.
That's true.
Corrupted
Yes,
things
Roshan
might
is
be.
the old woman.
Well, I would expect corrupted things to bounce off. It's like, you know.
Not just bounce off, but probably not see it as a target. It's just there, it's not moving.
Yeah.
So, oh, interesting.
Is it warm in there? Is it cold in there?
Well, Roshan can control the general atmosphere. It's, you know, it's comfortable.
Roshan's
like a
going to
mist.
yell out, "Yeah, we're all naked."
I mean, he can see through, right?
He can't.
No.
No.
No? At
No,
all?
he can't see through. No, it's camouflaged. He can't see through at all.
That's fucking
Better-
bonkers.
It's better today than it was a few nights ago. It smelled like lavender terribly in here.
Oh, that's
Like
gonna
all?
happen again.
We did
Like
on
all of you
I
are
mean-
naked? Like everyone?
I mean, a little?
Somebody
I
stick out an
appreciate it.
ankle.
The closeness. The closeness of a group.
It's
Fenn's
been
probably not
handy.
naked, but he might have his shirt off, washing up or something. Like
No, I don't think
we
anybody's
kind of
naked.
No.
I don't.
No,
we
I don't think
zhuzh
no.
through. We zhuzh through hygiene, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we all clean up a little bit every once in a
Yeah.
while.
Hopefully.
I'm sure we must do, or else our BO precedes us by like 4 miles.
No,
I
We
mean,
won't
Take a
sneak
seat
up on
that
anybody
trap.
that way.
Roshan will do it quietly in everyone's sleep, just a little prestidigitation to get the funk off.
Hell
He
yeah.
has to get bored by hour 4. You know,
Yeah.
I'm just like ugh, it just starts going around.
Fine. Ba-dam.
Oh.
You get a prestidigitation. You get a prestidigitation.
But eventually, Russ gives up and it's like,
Yeah.
all right, and he turns his focus to his group. I'll take first watch. Everyone else get comfortable. And he sets up at his camp.
Oh, he's doing
Can't see
solo?
shit.
Do we
And
need
he
to
just kind of
help in the watch?
I think we ought to. I think we ought to at least put up one person.
I don't think he can even see.
Oh.
Yeah, he's squinting.
I'll stay up for the first.
You sure?
Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay.
I'm rested now. I feel bad about the length of the rest I took the last time.
You needed it.
I'm all
You
better
needed
now.
it. Don't worry about it. But yeah, if you're comfortable taking the first, then go on ahead. And perhaps you'll be of some good use to Russ. You know how it is, partnered up for watch with someone who can't see in the dark.
Kel, do you have any snacks? Any marshmallows or anything of
If
that
not,
nature?
I can make you guys some tea before I lay down.
I think I've got something in here.
I have to
I
have
hope you do,
something. I
Kel.
gotta.
I think
Alright,
Killed
Roshan would
remnants.
also keep an eye more on Russ's group throughout the night.
Okay, so give me a perception check. I fully forgot the word. I'm just like, starts with a P.
I understand that feeling very
Perception check for Fen and Roshan. Russ is gonna do his best.
A bastard 20.
I also have a bastard 20.
well. Ooh. Double bastards.
21, baby, with disadvantage.
Ooh!
Let's go!
Oh, nicely
Hey!
done, Russ!
It's not like anyone could tell that he's seeing really well, but boy, is he seeing.
Ooh.
Ooh, these dice
For
are
a
on fire
human
today,
man?
boys.
You
For
know?
a human man in the dark, ooh boy.
Oh boy. I know that feel. Most of the
You
time
looking
I
for
don't.
anything in particular, Roshan?
I think he just wants to keep tabs on them, make sure there's no funny business. He doesn't trust him yet.
Don't approach the orb after 8 p.m.
You may only observe the orb.
The first
Contemplate
watch
the orb.
goes by pretty uneventfully. Occasionally you hear a sound and like perk up, but it's Russ just sort of like humming to himself. And then like it seems like he notices he's doing it and then stops. But then it happens again like a little bit later, so he has to keep stopping himself.
How's his pitch?
Is he kind of pitchy or is he pretty good?
Oh, that's a 19 on the dice. Oh,
Oh,
that's-
damn! You're pretty
1, 2, 3,
good.
4. So,
What's his range?
25. Dude, pitch perfect.
Oh,
I
okay,
didn't
so
know
is
he
he
was
more
so
of
good
like
at it,
a-
but he's
a
good at it.
baritone, or is he kind of down more like in the bass? What's the
He's
deal?
he's kind of leaning towards like falsetto a little bit. Like he's starting to go up into higher
Oh,
octaves, you know.
Interesting.
A little floaty. But eventually you watch him like stand up and stretch and then go into a tent, and then you watch Dagfin come out and then sit and begin knitting immediately.
Yeah.
And that is the first watch.
Well, hey.
Who is taking the second watch? So hour 3 and 4.
Roshan will
remind me-
continue to watch them all night, so
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's fair. Is Dagfin? Am I remembering right? Is Dagfin Elvish?
No, Dagfin is of Orcish descent. Brynja is of Elven descent.
Okay, I had them switched. That's where my mishap was. Okay.
So whoever's taking second watches can go ahead and give me perception checks. We won't dig too deep into this.
I'm happy to take the next watch, but if I do, I might ask Nyx if I could spot a see in the dark.
You push her awake. Hey.
Hey,
Unless
wake up,
Nyx
wake up.
wants to do it. What?
I will give you your dark vision for whenever you take your watch.
Bless
Yeah.
you.
You could also
so-
get it before you go to sleep because it
Yeah, you
lasts for
could.
8 hours.
Yeah, it lasts
Holy
a
shit,
long
really?
time.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
No,
you
no,
could
we
have
don't.
like
I'm going
underwater
to-
breathing and see in the dark. Crazy.
Yeah, I
No,
think
I'm
Roshan
going to
says
mix
that as she wakes Nyx up. Hey, can you make me see in the dark?
Just
You
smacks
can go
her.
ahead and make
Anna,
your
make some
rolls.
good berries while you're up, please.
Oh yeah. I'll do that. Thank you for the reminder. Oh, goodness. Okay. Nyx, thank you.
Rolls back.
Oh wow. It's so weird being able to see this far. Anyway. Nana's gonna go and take her watch. And like she's gonna be like working on she'll have gotten the good berries out of the way early and then
Yeah.
she spends
Perception check.
Yeah. Alrighty. Yo. That is not too shabby. That's 23.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't math for all of like 5 seconds.
That's okay. The next watch seems to go by uneventfully, and we go into the third, where Randall switches with Dagfin and gets comfortable and is going to. Whoever is present for this may roll perception. Roshan,
I would guess-
keep it up.
Maybe I would see this as I am getting ready to go and get my relief.
Yes, this is the next watch.
Hell yeah.
So somebody else would be taking over, or Roshan could have the rest of the night. He is always.
I mean, he theoretically could.
I'll
I guess
do
if
one.
someone wakes us up.
All right, so Nyx, go ahead and roll with disadvantage.
That's a 16.
That's pretty damn good with disadvantage.
When you
And what do
got
we
a
have,
plus
Roshan?
9, you know.
Holy
Oh.
shit.
I didn't roll for the second one, but
That's cool.
the third one is a 16.
Okay, 2 16s. Could you these 2 16s roll insight for me?
Oof. 16.
15.
roll it. Hard on those teens.
Both of you comfortable taking your watches. You can see Randall sort of like slowly and like having to as he tries to keep focus alone on his watch.
Oh.
And then you hear like a quick shout, more like a gasp coming from their side of camp. And Randall like kind of reacts for a second and then like looks over at the tents and then like raises a hand in your direction, kind of remembering that other people are here, and kind of raises the hand like, it's fine, and then goes into one of the tents. Roshan, you would know that at minimum, Russ is in that tent, the one that Randall went into. And with your insights, you would know that you would think, at least, your assumption is that was Russ's voice, that gasp. And then after a moment, Randall comes back out, and he's like, kind of like laughing, and there's like a foot that like hits him on like the ass as he like leaves, and then he just sits back down and kind of like looks over. He's like, he gives you guys like a thumbs up. And then goes back to taking the watch. unfazed. Everything's fine. And let's go into fourth watch. Who do we got? We have-
Fen will be back up by this point.
All right, and we'll take Brynja.
Take company if anybody wants to be up, but Fen can handle it.
I'll wake up Kel because he's got to start breakfast.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wake up, it's breakfast time.
Wake
Fen is
Oh.
absolutely gonna make sure that he, regardless of what happens here, he's gonna brush off the bubble before it pops.
And
Thank you.
I think if Keld is going to make breakfast, Roshan will do some sous chefing because he did plenty of that at the inn and can be of use.
Yeah. People can give me their perception checks. Caldeers will be at disadvantage.
Wah.
18.
15.
Thought you said 8 for a second, and I'm like, I think that's impossible.
It is impossible.
I think that's
11.
not how it could be. Well, good for you, Keld.
It's more than 10.
It's more than 10. Brynja is currently has this large axe out and is currently doing maintenance on it during her watch. And eventually the sun considers creeping above the horizon and the night passes without incident. Everyone has a long rest.
Long rest.
Yeah, everybody kind of on Russ's team starts jumping into getting things ready and eating the food and getting the horses ready. So and they have a whole camp to tear down. So they have a whole
We
thing
just
to
have
do.
a bubble.
You guys just have a
Yeah,
sweet bubble.
We're so lazy and lackadaisical about it.
And it's
I
just
mean, we're a
gone.
little bit spoiled,
Rolling up a
but-
sleeping bag. Oh, I'm almost finished cleaning up.
Is it
But
mean
yeah.
to offer to help?
don't
Fen
think
helped
so.
when they were setting up last night.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I feel like at whatever point Nana feels like our shit's
That's
together
what
enough,
people
like
do.
she'll go over and see if there's anything that she can lend a hand with.
You go over to Gleb and sort of offer your assistance, and he looks at you, and he just slowly puts the pieces of tent he's holding into your arms,
Yeah.
and then backs away, and then goes and does something else.
Got it. I'm guessing
Um,
it goes on their cart or something.
Well, they got a bunch of horses and stuff. Their horses are
Yeah.
loaded up. Each
Okay.
one a tiny little cart in and of itself.
Them some real sturdy horses.
But you guys have breakfast, and you're good to get on the road if you're so inclined. Today it's cold. The sun is out though, so that's helpful. But you're pushing forward. Is there anything while we're on the road?
We have a giant rat.
Hell yeah.
Aha! A rodent of
Giant
unusual
rat
size. Probably gonna. I don't know. Is it gonna be able to move fast enough to walk alongside, or is it gonna need to ride in the cart?
He can ride in the cart. Rufio's already done so much work. He deserves a cart ride.
You
And
are
also
very,
he can't
very
keep up.
correct. That's true.
But also,
The other option is not viable, but regardless. All right, fair enough. I think at some point along the way, if Nana notices that the other team seems to mostly be occupied with talking amongst themselves, trying to think. Roshan, which languages do you and Nana share?
Common.
Is that pretty much it? You got any
Yeah.
You gotta
dwarvish,
pass
elvish,
notes.
giantish? No.
No, Roshan
Trying to
knows
pass
notes.
abyssal, celestial, and infernal, so the outer
Well, God
planes
damn it, we're gonna
languages.
need to start working on
Wow.
that, aren't we?
I mean,
But-
you
oh
could
well.
write to him in Giant, and he would be able to read it, but that's about it.
Huh. I guess that's fine. Yeah, that's probably fine. Nana will, Nana will get a hold of a little scrap of paper and write out in giant for Roshan. Can you see if there's anyone watching us?
Oh yeah, I think it's standard practice for Roshan to light the way most of the day, or any time at least that we're talking, with the lantern and check about.
Okay.
Roshan, give me a perception check then.
Okay. All these rolls this game, and none of them are above 10, but that's a 15.
Okay. You don't see anything.
Okay.
I think
Nana
we're
will.
good.
Yeah, you think so? Okay. All right. Nana feels reassured enough that she can kind of. I.
I mean, I could
She's
just
trying to
check
keep this
on
on
them
the down low.
myself, you know.
What?
I could just spy on her and see if she's spying on, you know. Yeah. Like, try to look at.
Who's spying
That's
on
true.
us?
I don't.
How do you know who it is?
I mean, I would assume it's the one person from their group you said it would be.
I don't know. I feel like there's just a lot of people spying on us nowadays, and I don't trust anyone.
I don't know. It's rather difficult to narrow down
Fine, then.
when one has suspicions
It
of
is
so many
Weird having
different people.
eyes about.
I guess in that case, Nix, would you kindly check on Valda?
Do you want to do it yourself?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If
Give her the
if you don't
pot.
mind.
You get a pot and a ring.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Paching! And, pot full of water, melted snow.
Everybody on the horses behind you stare at you as you put your face into a bowl of water.
Y'all can say I'm just like, taking in some vapors. I'm sick.
Yeah, you guys can totally say that if you want to.
I don't know.
Or we could
Do whatever you
explain
want.
Yeah, they haven't said
Penguin
anything,
never.
they're just watching.
it. Finn would never.
That's fair. I understand.
I think it's only fair. Nope. You make your way up the river.
Okay.
I don't know why I try to roll for anybody.
I don't know.
You make your way up the river. Valder comes into view, having a very casual conversation with a shopkeep.
Okay.
It seems like he is getting rations for travel, getting supplies. You can hear Agnet's voice as she kind of chimes in about things that she's looking for and so on. It's you enter in on their shopping episode.
Okay. All right.
Is what you've encountered.
Does he look injured in any visible respect? Does he seem like
You
he's
can roll
favoring
insight
a
or
leg?
medicine.
Let me see. Probably my insight's gonna be better than my medicine. Yeah, definitely better than my medicine. My roll isn't terrific, but 14.
He seems okay.
Okay.
I mean,
I
he's
feel
currently
like
standing in a shop, so it's
Yeah.
it
it's
is what
pretty
it is.
chill.
But
He's not exerting himself, but it doesn't look like he's kind of like favoring a leg or like has a bloody arm or anything.
from
like
what you
that.
see, no.
Okay, fine. Okay. All right. No, that's fine. That seems. Does he seem like he's pretty calm? He seems like he's just doing his business.
He's just shopping.
Okay. I'm guessing with that kind of insight, I'm not going to be able to tell if there's anything going on under the hood.
Men be shopping, you know how it is.
Men be shopping, it's true. Men do be shopping. And
Men be
Agnet, I'm
shopping.
guessing, sounds pretty chill as well. Okay.
Yeah.
Never known Agnet to be chill.
I mean,
Very,
not
very
fully,
monotone and vaguely present.
but, you know.
Monotone, not happy to be shopping if you're picking up on any of the energy in the room.
That
Um,
seems very in line with Agnet's character from what I remember, so, you know.
But eventually you are kind of pulled back out, moving back down the rapids, and you are back on the cart with the team.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Nyx. I feel better.
I think you snap out of it just as Roshan's shouting back something like, "It's a new kind of facial."
I want you to roll deception with disadvantage.
My dude, we have to put lavender in here. We have to make it legitimate.
Wow, a 17 and a 16. So that's a 24.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'll even put my face into it next. Like, sure.
Yeah, Yeah, we're taking turns. Do you
I
want
don't-
to take turns later?
I don't think it was said very seriously. So I don't think a 24 deception is appropriate. I think Roshan is really joking. But maybe he
Legit
says it really
joking.
seriously, which would be in character.
Performance? I don't know.
Russ sort of kind of like leaning forward on the horse. Constantly Russ is like moving and he just seems uncomfortable all the time. Like at one point he's just like side saddle and he's like, nope, I'm
Yeah.
going to die. And then it goes back to normal.
Bisexual confirmed. Cannot sit still in a chair, even if it's a saddle.
Just laying across the saddle and hoping for the
Oh,
best.
God.
Told you.
But Russ sort of like raises an eyebrow. You're welcome to keep your fancy magic rituals to yourself. I've heard of magic before. I've seen it, like twice or so. Solid twice. I've seen a magic happen.
You know.
Only twice.
It's not very much.
I was one of his magics. I healed him.
Wow.
You know how special that makes me feel? I was one of his magics.
Yeah?
You're one of my magics.
Extremely
He yells it across the way.
Roshan like stares directly at Nyx and then looks back to him and says, "Feel free to like strangle him at any point," but I think Roshan starts saying, "I bet there's someone up here who could show you some magic."
She'll throw the pot of water at him.
Instantly covered in water. Freezing cold.
I mean, he has
Uh,
prestidigitation, but still.
Exactly, that's why it doesn't matter.
Well, he's also got control water. So
Oh no.
Water.
Who's next to
You are-
Roshan? They're
Tell
in
me
danger.
what happened!
yeah,
You
I
both
think
are welcome to roll initiative.
Oh my god! Water
see
Sure.
fight,
whose reaction
water
is
fight,
faster.
Water
'Cause I
fight,
think-
water fight!
Roshan is expecting retaliation. It'd be hard not to, I think.
Yeah. That's why he said you're welcome to strangle him at any time. He was
Yeah.
If I
welcoming
got a
initiative.
25, if I got a 25, he's jumping out of the cart before he gets splashed with ice cold water.
That's pretty good because I got a 20.
oh, Roshan
Shit.
got an 8.
What are we
Okay.
rolling?
Well,
Oh no, I just wanted Nyx and Roshan for their
That's fair.
tiny moment of player versus player.
the moment of
They're
PvP.
fighting right now, you guys.
Our one PvP.
You guys, it's
I turn into a big crab. I kill him in 2 rounds.
1v1 me, Sassbard.
Yeah, Roshan's not winning that fight, guys.
Roshan will shape the water back into a splash and splash it at Nyx.
I'll
instead.
freeze it. I
And
gotta
then
shake
you are
water
hit by-
too.
You are hit by a wall of glass.
Great.
Ice. Yeesh.
You're just being observed like a theater of this gaggle of people on horses behind the cart, just sort of watching.
Yep. You didn't
was
think
pretty
you'd
cool
get
magic.
entertainment on the way, did
Yeah,
you?
you said you'd show me magic. You showed me magic. It's pretty cool.
There it is. Shape water,
Um,
I believe is that one. Am I wrong?
Nope, you got it.
Hey, I'm not even all that magical.
It's my secret. I've seen magic a solid at least 5 times. And after
5
today,
times
like
now,
10.
including this. Oh,
In-
ooh.
Wow.
Now it's
You'll
solid
be
10.
unstoppable. You'll see it everywhere.
It is everywhere, isn't it?
I mean, it tends to be, especially, around cities and I guess weirdos who just go around and kill things for money.
Yeah, where are you from,
Weirdos.
weirdos?
We're certainly that, is all I'm saying.
The group kind of looks to each other, and it's like you watch the people with. If you have a higher passive perception, I'll let you consider what higher, passive insight. If you have a higher passive insight, I'll let you decide if you think yours is higher. But the social dynamics of this group, when it comes to questions, is very much like a lot of people turn and look at Russ, and then Russ looks at Brynja. So it's just kind of just like eyes just go whoosh, 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 like around until it's Russ gets confirmation from Brynja, and then Russ gives everybody else confirmation by being like, "Oh,
So
okay."
it sounds like we should
Maybe
direct
we
questions
need to be
Brynja.
doing all this silent communication. Seems a lot more together than
It's
what
usually
we usually
us
do.
just looking at each other and then being like,
That's interesting because I was curious about where you are from. I know that Nix and Keld are from. He vaguely motions in every direction. The woods. But where are the rest of you from? And then I promise I'll tell. I'm really bad at that. Sorry.
Really bad
That's
at what?
understandable.
Hiding that you're hiding something?
I mean, I can definitely relate to that.
He like leans back. Is it like I'm hiding something? Or am I just bad at social interaction?
Oops. I mean, there's that too. I can relate to that as well.
You see Brynja shrug. That's fine. I don't have any issues. A lot of us are from further east. Honestly, I have no idea where their hometowns are. I don't ask that, oddly enough. Not part of the resume that I request. I mostly take up residence, I suppose, if I had to, like, claim a place. It would probably be Skull City.
Lots
So,
of magic
doesn't
in
get-
Skull City. Huh.
I may have been lying about that. I've seen magic like a solid 10 times. You see it on the regular.
That makes sense. I mean, still.
If anybody's looking at Fen, he's like quietly heartbroken that he was lied to by his new friend.
Oh, buddy.
Their first fight.
Oh, no. Oh, so sad.
betrayed.
Now
so
Fen
soon.
is learning something new from him.
I think Roshan is the opposite, and there's like a new twinkle in his eye when he hears Skull City.
Oh.
Everything changed. So where are you all from? The rest of you besides the woods?
Galunder. You heard of it?
Out west?
Actually, I have heard of it. Look at me.
Wow. Not very many people have, honestly.
Well,
Not
it's
very
a...
good.
It's a... What do you call it? Fancy religious spot over in the west. Which, honestly, is the energy of the west, from what at least I've heard.
Now that I've
But-
seen the East, I can definitely see the difference, and I can see where the reputation comes from, yes.
A lot of spiritual leaders over in the west. Little more sporadic over here. But yeah, I've heard of Galunder.
Ah.
Fancy statue. That's probably all I've heard is fancy statue.
Fancy
The
statue
fancy
with a
statue
nice
tends
rack.
to be... It's a beautiful piece,
why
and
I've
it
heard
is
of
the
the
one thing that
statue.
a lot of people tend to talk about.
Mm.
Yeah. When
So
the
all
biggest,
of you are from...
The three of us, well...
I'm from nearby Galunder.
That's right.
Sure,
You
you've
said
never-
you said Briarheart the other day.
Yes,
Yes.
At the tavern.
Briarheart. Have you heard of it?
As well? A bit more secretive.
I learn something new from you every day. First time.
Ah! That's 3 days in a row! Sets a precedent.
It's a quiet place. We do our fair share of trade and keep to ourselves, but fairly intertwined with Galunder. A sister city, as it were.
That's lovely. My ass is going to fall off. As he like gets off the horse for a bit and just kind of like jogs.
You know, the smart aleck who invented this roller thing really could have done a better turn by inventing a cushioned saddle.
Honestly, like, put 10 pillows on this horse, and I think I would still lose all feeling in my legs. And
I
he's
mean,
just sort
after a certain number of hours, that's just inevitable.
is there anything else of note before taking up some camp time?
Nothing comes to mind for me. How about you folks?
All right.
We chill.
All right. As you are getting closer to the day coming to an end, you hear a whistle from up ahead from Gleb. Fen, you realize it does not sound like the normal whistle. And you see Russ sort of like perk up. All right, and like kind of like big smile on his face. All right, we need to camp around wherever Gleb is. Found a good spot.
Oh, all right. Excellent.
And so, Fen, you can take note of this whistle means good spot, question mark.
Or whatever
Sweet.
it turns out we find there, wherever Gleb is, I guess.
Yeah, wherever Gleb is. You all pull up into so you're out in the middle of nowhere. There's not much going on, not much to see.
A good spot.
But you can see Gleb over on a horse, sort of waving, and he is standing next to a larger stream, which is mostly frozen over. Like, it is just mostly a big sheet of ice. But it's sort of like... And the rest of Russ's group, like, there's like a collective sigh, and then you watch Brainia start like kind of like slapping her cheek a bit, and she like jumps off of the horse. Hey, do you guys listen? So we're about to partake in that terrible frozen nightmare over there.
Oh God.
So if you're interested in starting a fire, we would be appreciative. You're welcome to join. There's no modesty anymore, so I'm just giving you a heads up. He's already like undoing bits of armor as he like talks and like starts walking away.
It's understandable. We've all been in the wild before. I think we understand. We can get a fire going for you, no trouble.
Yeah, don't worry. This isn't going to last incredibly long.
I can't imagine you'd want it to.
The coldest dunk.
I think.
They're like all
I
a bunch
think-
of little Tordricks.
I think Roshan just kind of nudges Nyx when he says something about not lasting very long.
Joe, walk away from him.
Geld standing there awkwardly turns. Goes to the fire.
No, Nyx will do the fire. She can use Druidcraft to start it right away.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hey,
Be
I
good
mean,
about it.
I mean this question as politely as possible, as not weird as possible.
Right.
It's
Then
cold
we
out
do
here.
a s-
What?
It's cold.
What?
Yeah, what do you want from me? Russ is weeping openly.
Who else is partaking of the coldest dip?
If anybody's partaking, and also if anybody like side glances, I'm not asking in like a sneaky little sexual
No,
way. No,
sure.
none of that.
No.
Keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
You keep it to yourself. But is anybody? You see that this group is just like all
Going
of them
for it.
blinders on, straight to the water.
Nana is, yes, we get our prestidigitation every now and again, but Nana's going to partake of a cold dip. Very
All right.
businesslike. She knows the deal.
This is business.
Fen really wants to like set camp first, but like he doesn't want to be like left alone to go bathe by himself. The last time he was near a river, there was a seaweed monster that tried to kill
yes.
his friend.
Yeah,
So,
that's fair. We shouldn't do alone
so Fen will
at a
probably
riverside anyway.
Fen will probably like doff his armor, like to go take a dip, but he's bringing his quiver and bow with him, just in case.
Yeah.
You ever just been naked with bow and arrow? Yeah,
just within
the
reach.
two rangers make their way over. Rangers, so weird to be like, so perception checks. No
Yeah,
checks
no,
needed.
yeah.
Hey guys, no checks needed. You guys are literally in the water
yeah.
with them.
Yeah.
All of them. It seems like it's a communal thing in the sense of we're doing this at the exact same time. Nobody's going
And
in
that's
before
the
anyone
only
else.
interaction. That's
Yeah.
it. We're just
Yeah.
in here all at once. That's
And
it.
while this is happening, Russ goes over and starts just like hitting chunks of ice off the top of this stream and like trying to kick it out of the
Yeah.
way and make like
Yep.
a spot where you guys can get to some of the water.
Yeah.
All right, and Russ just everyone declothes instantly.
Whoop.
Everyone's just it's just a bunch of nasty adventurers butt ass naked. And
I mean, that's what the road demands.
it's what the road demands. All of you who are attending, it is as if there's like a bump and a bump, and all of you just like you go for it. They like it's almost like a jump for it sort of thing. It is the
Yeah.
cacophony of screams.
Yep.
It's
Yep. So cold.
ah shit,
Very
fuck,
cold.
shit, fuck. Like it's a lot of
Yep.
that.
Oh, there's plenty coming from Nana as well. It's like she's done this before. It's not her favorite, but you know, she feels that
But
it's
we've
kind of one of those
been in the
things.
valley though, so hopefully we're a bit more accustomed.
Yeah.
It's been a minute
It's
since
been
we were in the
It's
valley.
been a hot minute since you've been in the valley.
We've been sleeping in a nice hot bubble for a nice long minute.
We got
so-
used to the nice bubble and never like magical cold.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a couple things that long sleeves and long pants hide, where you can't see people's arms and whatnot, because it is winter.
Sure.
First off, Brynja is cut, like fully shredded. And
Eight-pack?
she just like, I wouldn't say an 8-pack, but
Maybe
she's
not.
pretty shredded. Like dunks her head into the water, and it's just like softly, just like, fuck, as she like tries to like
Yup.
scrub at her scalp.
It-
The thing that you pick up on looking at this group of screaming adventurers is they are non-magically healed bodies. These are bodies that take wear and tear and don't see a everyday cure wounds, is what you're kind of picking up on by looking at them. The thing is, they're covered in scars and bruises, and the thing is, like, sometimes you'll have a really nasty bruise, but then a good berry shows up and that's enough to take care of a bruise. A cure wounds comes up and then you don't have a bruise to speak of. Those things wiped away. So the thing is, like, you show wear and tear, but this is a group of people who literally wear it on their sleeve, and none more so than Russ. Russ's body is a tapestry depicting a painful life void of magical healing. This man is covered nearly head to toe in some type of injury. Stab wound, cut, obvious arrow injuries in different places. You can see that there's like a definite like arrow scar right in the center of his chest, and then one on his shoulder and his leg, covered in bruises and marks and like the occasional tattoo, which kind of blends in with just the overall energy of his body is just covered in scars. And the ones that stand out to you the most, which you don't see until he's kind of like, he's like when you have to slowly turn around and you're cold, just like, ah, shit, and he like turns, and the backs of his calves are covered in large burn scars that go up the back of both calves, and then kind of varying on the backs of the thighs and on the sides of the arms, and right at the small of the back, being his most prominent injury, are these burns. And it is just kind of the things you catch as everyone is screaming.
yeah.
And
Impressions
eventually
only.
they all like kind of jog out like, ah, done, tap out, can't do anymore. and all of them just like it's like you grab your clothes, you run over to the fire, you try to dry off quick enough to get stuff back on, and you got to hang out with some new friends. It's some beautiful bonding time.
It was great. It was so cold, but it was very good. Oh.
Gleb gives a thumbs up. But they all start to be able to like pull clothes back on, and when they come back over to the group, they're a bit more modest. They like they're not just it's not dong out,
Right.
That's rude. We're not at the river anymore. You gotta cover
Oh, the
it.
fire.
River only act behavior, guys.
Yeah.
Yes.
But eventually everybody is able to reclothe a bit cleaner. Hard to say how much cleaner you are after a solid 30 seconds of bathing, but
Violent
maybe some.
scrubbing has to count for something, is
Has
what
to count
I
for
have to
something.
imagine.
But eventually all of you are around the fire, and Russ is like currently sort of like hand combing his hair and like looks over at Fen. Ooh, question I wanted to ask you. So what is the coolest place you've ever been to, or the coolest thing you've ever killed? Either one.
Ooh.
Coolest place I've ever been to. And he's gonna look nervously at the party.
Sweating.
I can't say what the coolest place I've ever been to. That river was close, but I'll have to pass on that question.
Oh, I see what just happened, but that's okay. I'll let it happen.
I bit regretful of this, but I have to think it was the right thing. Coolest. No. Can I come back to you? I've got to give it some
Of
thought.
course. And I'll expand it to most interesting. Interesting of note.
We dove into a tower, dove into the ocean, sailed out into the ocean, upon a ship with a man who agreed to take us, and we dove down into a tower, and it was an inverted tower submerged beneath the sea, and lots of things occurred down there, very interesting things. But as we were making our egress, there was a creature made of broken bits of mirror glass. And it pursued us, and it had several other little ones that were much like it, and I slew several of them. And for just about everything I've ever killed, aside from basic sustenance, any trophy I've ever killed, I've kept a souvenir of some bit. Infernal like pull out his bow, and you'll see there's like little feathers and tethers and like little bits of ribbon and and leather and strips of fur and things like that. So just decorating his bow. I got much more in my bag, but this is the first thing that I don't think needed to be burnt in its entirety, that I did not for a second want to keep a souvenir from, a trophy of. I had to discard it. It was too frightening. Had it not been for Roshan's quick thinking and honestly steadfast concentration, I could not have kept my focus while doing what he was doing. I don't think any of us would be here speaking to you today. That is the coolest thing I've ever killed. It was a giant beast made of broken mirror glass.
That is
And you?
certainly pretty interesting. Definitely out of the usual answers I would receive with that. So, thank you for sharing. Inverted tower in the water. That sounds like a nightmare, but pretty cool.
It was a very unique experience that I would never receive enough money to pay me to repeat. Never in my life.
don't know if I have that. Either way, and people go about, their business of getting food and having casual conversation and talking. Is there anything that you guys wanted to do as
Well,
you have
could
made
we-
camp?
Could we turn that question back on Russ?
You guys can do whatever you want.
I bet Russ has some stories.
Honestly, I'm not that interesting. I mean,
Hmm.
it's been a hot minute till I've been to a very cool place. One of the most. It's been a hot minute, but I went to the Forest of Eden. And
Did
they're like,
you?
oh, don't go inside, you die. And I'm like, that sounds like a pretty stark warning.
That's what I'd heard.
But we were helping what do you call it? A bunch of eggheads? Researchers. We were helping a couple of researchers go in, and we were going in solid, like we could see the exit. Like we refused to go in too deep. That's how I lost a magic user, was because they kept walking and then they got eaten. But while I was in there was a spider so incredibly large, and the coloration on it almost mesmerizing. It was beautiful, and it wanted us dead. It really wanted us dead.
Cool.
It certainly did not care that it was beautiful, and isn't that the case? And so of course we had to kill it. Wasn't something like, it feels good when you're victorious. Didn't feel too
Yeah.
good that we had to do that because we were invading its home.
Right.
But rip to that magic user. Name currently escapes me. We're not friends.
I
The
can't
spider.
imagine you've been
This-
keeping up communication.
No,
The
they're
spider, was it-
very dead.
How did it taste? Was it delicious after you?
See, the thing is, somebody brought it up about eating it. But the fact that it was the colors that are usually associated with poisons in nature, we decided that maybe we shouldn't taste the spider. I took like a piece of it at one point, but I don't remember what happened to it. One of the coolest things I've killed. Normally you just have to deal with like people on the road and just like, a corrupted animal shows up and you have to just, give it a good couple bonks and then that's dealt with.
Aposomatism is the name for that. I cannot for the life of me recall where I learned that, but the brightly colored things in nature, the scholars, aposomatism.
Two things in one day, Finn. I learned so much.
Well, we're learning about each other here. This is great. This is fun. Glad
is
to be
very
sharing a
fun.
road with you and sharing a fire with you.
I feel exactly the same way. Anything else? The rest of them never killed a cool spider. Brynja was there
Yeah.
for the cool spider. But ever since the rest of the team, we've been a little more, less terrible forbidden forest type of thing. See, the thing is, the
yeah.
forest isn't forbidden. It's just sort of like, everyone agrees that if you go in the forest, you don't come back. So,
Less forbidden, more foreboding.
Which forest is this?
this
Forest
would
of
be
Eden. Forest of
the
Eden.
Forest of Eden, which is not the one you guys are from. This is the one
No, we
that's
don't live there.
further west.
No.
You guys do not live in the sweet Death Forest.
No, y'all do not get to chill back in the in the death forest.
Eden was
Is that on our map?
it was
It is.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
It's the big
If
one.
we kept heading due north, we would hit the Forest of Eden, which is named after Donna Roshan, as
Oh.
you're well aware, Broggy's
Here it
wife.
says the orchard.
Yes.
I see.
Yes, she kept the apples of immortality. Am I remembering that right?
No, I'm not a religious man. And does it even count as religion? Sometimes it's just sort of a story, I suppose. Did she have magical apples of youth, or was it, just something so that like we could wrap our heads around it? Unclear.
Maybe it was ancient good berries. Who knows?
Oh, that would be disappointing. But
would
make more
be.
sense. It would make sense, but
Right?
also be disappointing.
You know, like one of those things where it becomes grander and grander in the telling, but in actuality, it's very boring.
Hmm. Yeah,
I'm
Happens
not,
a
the
lot.
first story probably not good.
not overly fond of deities, but I have to imagine Eden was something special. To have taken the heart of Bragi. It just. It must have taken a certain type of person to win him over, and she must have been that.
One would have to think.
Artists,
Who knows?
I can't
She
say
could have
for
been
sure.
crazy.
I mean, artists do have a penchant for both of those.
And Saga had her moments as well, but she was a very special person, or is a very special person, and I miss her dearly each day.
Oh. Yeah, I don't suppose any of you in your travels have come across a very animated young lady, very big hair, bright clothes. You would know her straight off. She's incredibly friendly. Saga?
Name of
name?
Bloom, Saga Bloom.
I think there was another name, but maybe she's using that one still.
I don't know if it rings a bell per se.
Well, you'd certainly know her if you saw her.
Maybe we'll see her along the way, and then you can point her out, and then I'll burn it into my memory. During this conversation, Brynja has gotten up and is doing the same thing where she wanders a few yards away, kneels, and begins murmuring questions.
And it is questions
think-
again?
Yep.
I think Roshan would like to intercept her to ask about it before she does.
Can I pray with you?
I mean, maybe.
We could have Bible study.
But yeah, I think Roshan would, once everyone's back at camp and before she looks like she's going to head out, I think he would try to get her a little more secluded with everyone else talking about Bragi and Eden and ask, so I hope it's not an intrusion, but I was just wondering who you were beseeching, who or what form. I assume you're doing an augury.
She looks at you kind of like stoic. And you realize it's not stoic. She doesn't know what word you just said to her.
Ah, okay. Shit. Josh doesn't know an easier word.
Wedding.
Divination?
The divination you were asking questions of someone or something greater, I assume.
Oh, yeah, when we set up camp, nobody really asked me that, so it sounds kind of crazy when you say it out loud, but I ask nature if everything's okay and if certain things are here.
That makes perfect sense. I was merely wondering if you were perhaps beseeching a deity and if one was getting back to you, but nature
Nope.
is a steadfast companion.
It answers the questions.
Nyx can do the same, but I understand it's personal, so enjoy. I hope
I'm
nature
sure.
gives good answers.
If it doesn't, I'm sure you'll hear about it.
Can't wait.
One way or another.
And goes over, and you can catch the beginning of like the first question of just like, is there an undead threat nearby is the first question you hear as you kind of go and rejoin the group. Um,
I have to
what do
believe
you
that's probably gonna be true.
what are you guys doing? And it was very specifically worded, like a threat, a greater undead,
Oh,
in this
interesting.
scenario.
Oh, so it gets to be more specific than my general ranger malaise of yes, everything is out to get you.
It's when
Oh,
you ask question, you can be a little more specific, than just
being
like
attuned.
sonar. Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, okay. All right, that makes sense.
Um, all of you get ready for camp, and what a casual time to go take a break. As you all get comfortable, begin eating dinner, we're gonna take a 10-minute break. So go get a snack and a drink, and we'll see you guys then. See you guys in 10 minutes.
Thank you, 10.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 121 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. The party's just been having a good time, traveling with their new friends, jumping into a frozen little river naked, a bonding experience to be had all around. And are currently
Skinny
all
dipping forms friends.
are sitting by the fire. Brynja finishes up pretty quick and gives like a nod to Russ, who's like, all right. And you guys are free to do as you wish tonight. As people sit around, there is food. Russ is loud. That'll always be the description.
Got it.
What are we doing?
Fenn's gonna bust out the alchemy bottle, and he's gonna start producing 4 gallons of beer to pass around to whoever wants to have some drinks.
That's pretty fancy. You guys seem decked out in the flashy magic department.
We've acquired some very weird things from some very weird people.
I
Calling it what it is.
I don't think we're fancy people. I've never been accused of being fancy, personally.
The amount of magic items that are currently in your group, pretty fancy, compared to the average person walking around.
That is true.
We have 2.
Across
Amongst all of
the
us.
entirety. Yeah. That makes sense.
You know, keep it simple.
I
It's
mean, when you're not gallivanting off into murder forests, there's generally less of a need for, like really hopped up magical items, you know?
I mean, like, my morning star is magic, and
That makes sense.
looks over at Brynja, and Brynja's like sighs, and he's like, well, I already brought it up, and if I don't explain it, then it's keeping a secret, and then that's not what I want to do. The other magic item we have dispels magic. So your
That's
bubble
pretty handy.
could get rid of it, but we're not going to do that. But you should know we have it. That's
We
all.
appreciate it. I mean,
Can I insight that?
Sure.
Just to, I wanna trust this guy.
right.
But
Oh,
I mean, he could have seen all of us butt naked any one of these nights.
Could have dropped the bubble at any moment.
And then what will we do?
that is a
Cry in the snow.
nat 1, so 12.
Buddy! Can I?
You have no. You have no idea. You can't read him. This man just divulged that he has this magic item, but you don't know if he's just trying to now calm you down. But he told you about it.
Yeah. I mean, like, Nana's engaged in the conversation. Can she kind of vibe check, see if he's, like, at all being threatening here, or, like, if he's just
I
mentioning
think once the other person rolls and gets me a nat 1, I don't know if I'm always going to be accepting of another roll. So
That's
to try and counter it.
understandable.
So
Okay.
nothing to be
Okay.
gleaned. He tells you he has this
Alright.
magic item. Is what you got.
Okay.
Have you sold all the magic items that you've collected, then?
Usually we turn them in, because usually we get a pretty good stipend from the boss, for travels. Either we give magic items to whoever they need to be given to. Sometimes we give them to shops, that sell these items, and sometimes we bring them back home, if the boss might be interested. Unclear.
Oh, the boss. Yeah, what was the boss's name again? I'm sorry.
I never told you. And he points and he
Oh,
laughs.
sorry. I thought we were in a situation where we were learning something from each other each day.
Oh, listen, Fen, I apologize, but sadly, can't drop a boss's name.
Could you tell us
Alright,
if your
would you like
boss's
another beer?
name is Mikkel?
Take another, like, you catch it, like, in this weird sort of, I'll take it, his name is... yeah, I'll have another beer. Who?
Mikkel? Might call himself the Valkyrie.
Nope. Can't say. That is... Sorry, it's an audacious name. No.
This is really audacious.
You haven't seen anyone, probably rich, with a gold chin. likes wearing white armor.
This rings more of a bell, but what can I say? Like that I could picture a person like that. Like if you asked me to like paint a picture, I can't paint. Don't ask me to paint a picture, but
Metaphorically
that sounds
speaking.
metaphorically, if I were an artist, I could probably paint a picture, but
Well, as long as you're not working with either of our, like, nemesis, I think we can...
so you're a nemesis with a guy who calls himself the Valkyrie and has a gold chin and a white motif. And who's your other one?
Oh, Bosch.
Oh, Bosch, he's an asshole.
Royal.
Asshole with one end. Not literally a royal. Just
No.
some
Royal asshole.
some asshole from way out west, with one hand who would love to see the earth plunge into darkness.
Downer.
Well, he was.
That's not an answer, though.
To what part? Was there? I'm sorry.
Do you
Was there
know
a
who-
question in that?
Do you know who he is, or are you working for him?
Do I know who the guard is? Yes, I know who the guard is. We spoke about him earlier. And do I work for some bumfuck ranger who thinks he's a cultist? No.
All right.
You didn't seem
Good.
the type.
I'm glad we can remain friends.
I hope not, since he's trying to kill us too.
Yeah.
Does
Pretty
your boss,
possibly.
for some reason, not like us?
I have crossed my heart, hope to live forever. I don't know who you are.
Lovely.
That's fair. Honestly,
I think
You're on
Roshan
par with
will
what I
turn
realized.
around and walk away for just a second, asking the woods some questions of his own, and sending to Egil.
sure. In the
And-
meantime, you do that. I have a thing after.
I think he'll ask, do you know of a Russ, a regular at this party? It looks like we're going to be attending to, and so I guess we'll see you soon.
So I guess we'll see. And
So I guess we'll see.
That's
So I guess
also a
we'll
vibe, yes. I guess we'll see.
you can feel the exasperated energy before he even starts speaking.
It's just in the breath leading up to the words.
Had a feeling. Let's start with distance when you get here. Not my favorite, but Russ. Why? That's where it cuts off.
Make me use all my damn spell slots. He'll reply, oh, that's right, I could do this all night because I got 3rd level pact slots.
Hell yeah, buddy!
Then he'll reply and say, just a real nice guy we met on the road and offered Nyx to be his date. Hey, do you need a date? Babe?
Babe?
Wait. Instead of babe, it's beach.
You need a date, beach? Oh my god.
Attending the party. Good to know. Great. I currently have a date.
I mean, it's got to be.
You originally were not attending. And it's probably best not to be arm in arm. Arm in arm is one word.
There would be PDA.
I know who Russ is. But send me another message. He's gonna cut through them all.
Great. For the third,
Room, right?
I think he says in a true apologetic tone
Oh.
that I'm sorry that I couldn't take us away from this, but it seems too important to skip. You don't need to protect me. And if he has one more word left, beesh.
Like a solid 4 words left, but it's just beach echoing.
Beesh. Fills up all remaining slots with beesh.
You don't have much of a say in that, darling. You're not the only one in a bit of trouble. Russ is a mercenary of great renown, currently on a short leash. Dangerous, in my opinion. Ticket says it all.
But I mean,
Ticket says it
also-
all.
Well, the fact that
Like
he's
a
going
ticket to the party.
Yeah. But also, he's sweet on Nyx. We know he has a crush.
You guys can't prove it. You can't. You won't.
Yeah, that probably didn't happen. That's probably fake. Yeah, I think Roshan just heads back to the party, slightly frustrated that no one will tell him who this man works for.
Damn.
I mean, you could use another sending and ask.
But am I gonna get an answer?
I don't know.
Give me a second. If Ro can think of some nice words to say, maybe. If he can't, no dice.
Okay.
Katie can give
Meanwhile,
you dice.
Katie does have dice.
Dragon ink dice.
Yeah. What is it again? Something
So
in
do we have-
cartel?
do we have commercials
What?
now?
Those are
I mean, we
ads.
could.
Not an advertisement right now.
And if you're in the market for dice,
We all praise Katie at the end if we
Yeah.
remember. Meanwhile, in the world of Dungeons and Dragons,
Yes.
I believe Nana
what's-
wanted to do something.
I did. So since Fen and Nana partook of the stream and the bath and whatever, it was kind of impossible not to notice peripherally the great many scars that the other team has compared to us. I mean, like, the majority of the heavy damage that Nana has taken in her short 19 years of life have largely been healed magically over the course of the last, like, half a year-ish that we've been traveling since Ave died, you know? Whatever the amount of time has been. Yeah. She doesn't have as many scars. She's got a few, though. So she kind of wants to sort of open some level of discussion because, you know, it's the type of thing that adventurers will chat about.
Open some old wounds, if you will.
I mean, if one has any inclination to do so, and if any of them seem to be partaking of the beer that Fen has poured, you know,
I mean,
Nana's
all
gonna
of
have
them
some.
Sure.
Sure.
But once again,
Yeah.
they do not go past 2 drinks.
No. Yeah, no. We're all not getting sloppy when we all have watch. So, of course. Nana will partake as well, and she'll just sort of open up discussion.
Real quick, though,
Yeah.
right before you start, people with insight 15 and up, the line of questioning from earlier, the kind of line and fire sort of questioning you guys just did, people look a bit more standoffish now. Not in a secretive way, in a they were just bombarded with questions type way. You can tell some people are rubbed a bit wrong by that.
Okay. All right. So Nana's going to use this as a little bit of a bridge building opportunity then. And she's going to kind of come in with fresh beer and plunk down and say, well, I'm not certain how you all do it where you are from, but in Galunda, it's customary for folk who are of the road and familiar with the dangers of the wild to trade stories about places we've received our scars. I haven't very many myself, but one that I'd like to open up an opportunity with the lot of you for a chance to share some stories, perhaps around a fire with some drink, if you will allow me.
Randall pipes up first. Yeah, why not? And he just like leans forward.
Hell yeah.
Fully
Yeah.
invested.
Yeah. Right. So, this would have been when I was, oh goodness, 10 years old. I was out for a hunt. I was gathering up some game for, you know, the evening's repast, and I ran a bit afoul of a particularly bad-tempered badger with a den full of kits. And I made the mistake of stepping directly into the mouth of the den. I was, of course, goodness knows, some 30-odd minutes away from home. So this absolutely banger of a mother just absolutely wrecked my leg. I've still got the scars, and she'll kind of like pull off one boot and kind of roll up her legging and kind of show off some gnarly, like, looking, like, they're small. They've healed over the course of 10-ish years, but they're pretty obviously still there. She got me a good couple times. That one was with the teeth, those were with the claws, and I think that one was the back legs twice. And goodness knows, I managed to finally get away from her after, it felt like an hour, probably wasn't more than 5 minutes. Managed to climb up a tree until she finally lost interest and went away. And then I cried in the tree for about another hour or so before I finally managed to climb myself back down and get back to Galunda, where my brother was very kind and not laughing at me as he patched me up, so.
That is really funny. And Randall starts laughing. There are some chuckles amongst the group. If you have a passive insight of higher than 12, Russ is really quiet.
Meets 12 or higher than 12?
I will say meets. Meets
it,
beats it. He's gotten a bit more quiet in this conversation. Brynja has moved kind of like closer to him, kind of picked up seat casually and is like next to him and like it just seems to be just like in his space during this talk. And Randall kind of like hands up. All right. In the same vein, when I was younger, when I was fishing with my father, um, I wasn't the brightest child, and I wasn't the most patient, and I was also so incredibly small. Um,
I can't imagine
but
it now.
you know, I hear that a lot. Uh, but while we were fishing, um, I I caught a fish and I was so proud of it and but it was hanging on a bit kind of willy-nilly and as I try to pull it over the fish fell off the hook and my tiny little child hands went onto the hook
Oh,
and
Randall.
so I wept for the rest of that fishing trip. And my father did had to remove a hook from my hand, and he
Oh.
kind of puts his hand up, and you can see just the tiniest little mark on his hand, just the slightest little mark. Yeah, it's usually stupidity that stays with you.
Isn't it just?
Usually is.
You learned to never go reaching out for a fish. I learned to never step foot into a badger den.
Oh, Dagfin, show him yours. And Dagfin just kind of like glances over. Oh yeah, one second. And starts pulling his gloves off as he also seems to have something on his hand and he like puts his thumb up and you can see it is just covered in like little scars just on the thumb.
Oh.
Sewing, knitting, dangerous profession.
Naturally. One carries the scars of one's profession quite naturally, and working with one's hands as one does with knitting.
Roshan, this would be around the time you come back over unless you had something else.
I think Roshan would send one more and say, you don't need to tell me anything that you think might put me in danger. But he seems earnest. Should we trust his goodwill?
Should we trust his good?
Should we trust his good?
Should we trust his good?
Goodwill's one word. Goodwill's one word.
Oh, goodwill, as it slowly fades out at the end of the word. What if he has a friend whose name is Will and we are questioning his morality? We don't know. Does the sending spell know? These are the
Is the
questions.
will good?
Question.
Oh shit,
How good
5e
is
is
the will?
broken.
Oh no!
Guys, how good is the will?
Who died?
Depends on how good the lawyer is.
As good as Matt Damon. Goodwill Hunting.
You can hear the sound of Eagle's voice coming into your mind. I don't know him that well. He's far east. It's not my space. I just know that's somebody we're not fucking with. Right?
There will be
See you
no
there. See you
reply
there.
to that.
Yeah. Ends with a cheeky see you there.
Cheeky.
But Roshan,
I'm
you
not
come back
fucking
over?
him, of course.
And
I think Roshan could I mean, you said it was a 12 to notice him being a little quiet, right?
Yeah.
I think Roshan would catch his eye and then just kind of nod off into the forest, like hey, can we talk? Can we chat just a little?
You watch him lean over to Nyx. Nyx, your friend wants me to follow them into the woods.
It's
Do you want to? You could go. It's just right?
Yes, give him permission,
Looks over
Nyx.
at Roshan.
Thanks, Mom.
Why not?
I mean,
Do you wanna?
Well, he was just over there doing little chit chats with someone, and now he wants to go talk in the woods. I feel like I'm in trouble at school.
He's probably talking to his boyfriend. It's fine.
yeah.
And why am I in trouble if he was talking to his boyfriend?
No.
Probably not.
Do you want me to go ask him before you go talk to him? If
Would
you're
you
in
come with
trouble?
me?
Okay, fine. She'll get up and go in.
Listen, also you shouldn't just follow a single person into the woods, you know?
Good advice. Good advice.
It's good advice unless you're being proposed to.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a proposal.
I've heard it's actually okay sometimes, so I don't know about.
He stands up and Brynja like watches him stand and his like eyes fully trained on him, and he like gives her a pat on the shoulder. Go and show him the thing that you have in the spot, and kind of just like drones out and walks with Nyx to go see Roshan.
Cool.
Brynja like, okay, and then like yanks the buttons on her shirt. So right here, and there's like a scar on the collarbone.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, it was a construct
Oh.
made of stone,
Oh.
and I hit it with my axe,
Oh.
and then the axe came back.
Oh.
Ouch.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah,
Ah.
gnarly.
Incredibly.
So, I have been stabbed and shot and crushed and burnt and squeezed and had the armor melted off of me by some sort of giant acid undead monster thing. But right here, just like with you, and Fen will undoing the buttons on his jerkin and pulls it
Twinsies.
open.
Here.
It's like
Twinsies.
right here. Look at this. This is the only scar I have right here. It looks just like yours, and I got it from her. And he points at Nana.
Nana kind of like turns away and drinks a little on her
So,
beer.
when we were young and dumb, and I have to assume that we all still are,
To some degree.
I would have been I would have been about 25, and Nana would have been about 10, maybe somewhere in that range.
The Badger era. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Badger era, and Nana and I have always been very close, and had a friendly rivalry. And we had a little competition between us, who could throw a spear the furthest. And in our naivete, because we're dumb children, decided we would do this from opposite ends of a field and throw them at one another.
Well, we had the clearest view of each other, you see. It was
Yeah,
only
but-
logical.
I was certain I could throw a spear further and more
You were
accurately,
wrong.
and
You were wrong.
I was wrong. I fell short of Nana by a good 4 or 5 feet. Nana did not fall short of me.
I didn't mean to get you in the shoulder.
She struck me right here
Yeah.
with a spear. It didn't
bled a
heal
lot.
well, and more importantly, I lost the bet. And her brother had gifted me a braided necklace, a bracelet rather,
Leather.
leather bracelet made of unicorn hide, passed down from the Valkyries. And I lost it to her in a bet.
Yes, you lost. the bracelet to me in a bet. You don't still believe that was unicorn hide, do you?
Well, that's what Alve said.
I-
That's what
I
he said
thought-
when he gave it to me.
Yes, Fen, oh dear.
When I got the most quail on the hunt, when the reward for the
Yeah.
hunt was the most quail, and yes, it was unicorn hide passed down from the Valkyries, and I
Right.
bet it to you in the spear throwing
did.
competition, and
Yes. And I won.
and you won, and you have that, and I'm sure you still keep it close to your heart, but I'll win it back from you someday in some competition.
I'm certain you will.
That sounds like a beautiful bracelet, and I hope you win it back.
He can try.
Sven buttons back up his jerkin and kind of embarrassed that he just admitted to losing to Nana.
Nana smacks him on the shoulder. It was all in good fun, and plus we were kids. Honestly, you can far out shoot me with your bow and arrow any day of the week anyway, so.
I'm still not sure I could outthrow you with a bow or with a spear, but
Well, we don't all have to be good at everything.
yeah, I just have to be better at you than those things.
Held, anything to share? Does anything show under the fuzz, or?
Well,
Nana wasn't
Yeah.
going to say it out loud, but she was thinking a little bit.
Hmm?
So she's kind of like just paying attention a little bit while she's drinking.
I've got a few burns from when I first started cooking.
Oh.
There's like some like small patches, I guess, where the hair doesn't quite grow right on his hands.
Aw. That's cute.
Gleb finishes his second drink and sets it down, and holds up his hand, and then kind of jostles his head a bit and points to his ear, and you can see the lobe is split and healed that way.
Oh, wow. How did that happen?
What's the story there?
He fully shrugs.
Not sure.
Huh.
We honestly don't know much, and honestly, we truly believe he probably does not know where that scar came from.
That's fair.
What a mystery.
How interesting. Well, I certainly hope it doesn't keep you awake at night, Gleb.
He gives you a thumbs up. He
Yeah.
seems chill about it. He seems chill about his earlobe.
Very little seems to trouble Gleb. He's a good fellow.
He's something. He's certainly something. Look at him.
What's the vibe on that statement?
I mean, he seems a little amused.
Yeah.
Randall, as described, is the newest to the group,
Right.
so
Hmm.
less time with the team, getting to know everybody a little bit more.
Okay.
Meanwhile, some people walk out to the woods to go talk to the principal.
We are in trouble.
I'm very disappointed. Y'all are both getting detention together
No kiss.
in the woods.
No.
No
Woods
kiss.
detention.
Oh, no.
Nix, I will say that you realize today Russ has spoken to you, but not like as much. Like you've noticed a bit of a not as intense of lingering in conversation that seems to have there seems to be a bit of a buffer.
Right, so they were all wrong, clearly.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's clearly not afraid of the fact that you admitted you were dying of
Yeah.
a terminal illness.
All right, we're here. What did I do?
Nothing that you did. I apologize for being standoffish and not trusting you more. You seem like good people, but we haven't run into any good people in the East, period.
You ran into me here. What's up with that?
You're part of the we.
You traveled in the east before meeting me, thus we met in the east. I'm just pointing that
Oh
out.
wow. I'm sorry, Nix, that I'm obviously a better person than you.
What I'm saying is, I just don't trust anyone over here anymore because it's gotten us burnt pretty much consistently since we crossed the hammer. And I'm sorry that my prying questions have led your mood to sour. That's on me, and I apologize.
Roll charisma for me. I'll
Come
let you roll
on,
with
Nat
advantage
1.
if it's sincere.
Oh, it's sincere. He's being a good boy. Uh, 18.
Roshan, as you give this speech, there is that feeling in your chest, that sort of warmer vibration of when you do something good, that bit of serotonin. As you speak, that that becomes consistent and stays during this conversation. Well, I appreciate your apology. Takes a big person to apologize. Nobody likes to be bombarded with questions, especially when, no offense, there was a lack of tact. It was, you know, as if you had already pinned me for a crime. Like, you had all the cards and were expecting the worst of me. You can see that there's like a slight twitch at the corner of his mouth. And he sucks in his lips a bit. You're fully forgiven. Don't get my mood wrong. Huh. No hard feelings. There is, both of you can tell, something is, he is bothered by something. The apology and acceptance of it seems pretty genuine, but he's a little something's a little wibbly.
I think Roshan would call it out gently and say, I don't feel our business is complete. Despite that, are there more words you wish to have?
In a bit of a rock and a hard place. Yesterday I promised to Nix that I would give her an explanation of all my inner workings. That's fucking hard. You know what's easy? Telling you what I did yesterday. I could tell you, I'm not a good person. Not a bad person. But I've done bad things. I'm sure you all have done bad things. It's easier to talk about that than it is to talk about somebody that I don't really know anymore. Somebody who made choices with a different mind and a different place. That's harder. And I find that a bit difficult. I'll tell you of a man I had to kill the other day. He attacked us on the road. Usually we let them go if they flee when they try to rob us. Didn't flee. Didn't stop. Killed him. I don't feel good about it. but I have no reason to not talk about it. But the person who used to wear this skin, I don't know him, and if I do, I don't want to know him. So, excuse me if I'm just a little, whatever this is. He just sort of motions at himself.
Just gesture to all of him.
Joshua did not pick up on the full context of that situation. Can you clarify for Joshua, not for Roshan, who's got insight
There
out the
and
wazoo?
vibing.
Which part? The murder? Which part in
No,
general? The whole
like,
thing?
what's
A synopsis?
Yeah, what's
What's he
he
getting at?
hiding? Like, is he being clear about something, or is it mostly
He seems-
obfuscation?
He seems
I
like
will
he's
tell
saying,
you,
like,
it's... He is... You have pretty good insight, passive insight.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, both of you, incredibly insightful.
very insightful people.
The man deserves to try and save. The man deserves a role. It seems the combination of the conversation at the campfire, both conversations, the one where he is being aggressively questioned, the one where people started talking about injuries, and the fact that he owed Nyx a story. He is referencing most likely that story, and it seems he finds that a difficult story to tell because
Okay.
it was a long time ago, and that was a different person. So he is struggling with that.
I didn't know whether he was metaphorically talking about wearing a different skin, or
It was a metaphor.
know-
Was he a changeling?
Okay.
Question: how many skin this guy got?
I mean,
it was
in
a
fairness, we know
metaphorical
ink.
skin.
Okay.
We know ink, so, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I
give us
will
And
a
we
say-
break.
just encountered a potential werewolf.
Yeah. So I will say, you can take it as you will, of course,
Okay.
but
Right.
it is not him. He is not literally in this moment being like, all the skins I've worn. All the skins on my body. That was not.
Well,
the-
he should be more careful with his words.
Yeah. Hey, watch yourself, buddy.
We need to be more specific.
Might think you have a lot of skins.
Skin changer words,
What?
I guess.
I think Roshan replies by saying, we all have stories that are hard to tell and that we don't want to tell. And I'm hardly the person that I would go to with any of those stories, but if you need encouragement or want encouragement, you're welcome to have it. And if you want to be left alone about it, you can have that too.
He turns his focus to Nyx.
And I think Roshan will just give him inspiration.
Hey.
All right, do to hold on to an inspiration. Weirdly enough, I think that kind of falls to you, Nyx. Do I owe you a story, or do you think you can wait it out? I promised a story. It's up to you.
It's your story. I'm not gonna force you to tell it if it's not something you're comfortable sharing. Just because I shared something with you doesn't mean you have to share something back.
shouldn't be difficult. It should be like opening a book and talking about somebody in the pages. But it's not. I also hate having shit just lingering in the air. Makes me tense.
I think Roshan, since Russ is looking away at Nyx, I think Roshan would smile suggestively at her after he says that.
Keep shaking her head. Stop it.
I am going to roll a dice.
Secret dice.
You both are watching this man very quickly roller coaster. Like, you know, usually like you see somebody just like, ooh, up here and then ooh, down here. It's just kind of like, burr is kind of the state of his being at the moment, that you can pick up on that his brain is doing an incredible amount of back and forth. And he looks uncomfortable with this mental conversation he is having with
He
himself.
needs his brainia.
Yeah.
He does.
Where's the person who tells me if things are good or not?
Where's my emotional support elf?
No, please.
Yup. She's telling us about the badass axe wound from the stone construct.
You might think different of me.
As learning about people oft does.
If you want to abscond in the night, I won't hold it against you. And puts on this kind of manic bravado. When you are stressed out a bit about something you are gonna do, but
Rip off the bandage energy.
dude straightens up. All right, I'll jump in. He starts walking back towards the fire.
Oh shit! Oh, buddy, we
And-
going all the way.
As Roshan and Nyx head back, I think he'll whisper to her and say, if you don't get a kiss tonight, you're sleeping outside the bubble.
Can't just force somebody to do that. She's gonna keep walking.
Force somebody to do that, as if that wasn't something Russ would love.
If the kiss is good enough, she might not want to sleep in the bubble anyways, so...
But then
You want to
it's a
sleep in the
choice.
tent with a bunch of people?
Oh boy.
Russ is currently approaching the fire with purpose, and I think anybody with an insight can tell that, like, something weird is kind of depending on the level, but, like, dude just
Kinda
had a
weird
talk in the
energy.
woods and then
Okay.
came back at level 11 out of 10 to come tell a story.
All right.
Somebody's
Somebody's got to tell this story energy.
Well, we're all talking about scars. How about I tell you about how I got mine? You can see different reactions amongst Russ's group. Randall leans in like he is about to hear a good story.
Yeah. Okay.
Gleb and Dagfin sort of get quiet, a bit more pensive, less sort of open positionings. Brynja's eyes go wide.
Uh-oh.
And she looks like, for half a second, she's about to stand, and he puts like a hand up. No. I'm going to tell you a story about somebody who acquired these scars And he motions to his body as a whole. Some of you got to see up close and personal, Lucky.
Wasn't trying to look. Sorry.
Hard not to.
Nana kind of like sips on her beer.
Um, sadly, if you'll bear with me, there's a bit of backstory that goes with it, a bit of build-up.
Please.
That's all right. I came from literal nothing. Jack shit. Owned nothing, had no one. Live on the streets, do what you can to survive. The whole spiel that you see at the beginning of poor orphan books. I was nothing. And that is a terrible thing to be. And to know it. God, if it could have been a secret from me, that would have been fucking great. And so, you know, you're a child and you're trying to survive, and who's going to take care of you but you? So you start out with some petty thefts. Food, clothes. You sneak into places, a place to sleep, somewhere warm. And then you escalate occasionally. And then, sometimes, something brilliant and terrible happens, and you find somebody so incredibly perfect and terrible. There was this woman, and I met her, you know, in a bit of seedy places, and we were perfect for each other. And by that, I mean we were horrible for each other. Two monsters is the only way I could put it. Two monsters came from nothing. And so you build each other up. There's two of you. You can do bigger things. You can steal bigger things. You can hurt a bigger person. You can take what you want. And the only way you get things is with power. And lucky for me, somebody in a nice set of plate stumbled their way into a river. And then I had a nice set of plate and a nice weapon. And that was enough power for some people. Some people to look at me different. Like something. And that felt fucking good. And she looked at me like I was something. And that was even better. And people started paying attention. And people started listening to me. And I had a crew. Acquired a crew. I think I was 17. I was 17 and had a fucking crew of bandits. Going to be just forward about it. Bunch of fucking bandits. And we had a little spot out in the woods. And we would hold up carts and travelers and take whatever we wanted, and we hurt people. Didn't bother me. Didn't bother her, and that's all that mattered. Did it bother her? And sometimes you killed people. And it didn't bother me none. And people were afraid of me. What was some of these? Best feeling I ever fucking felt. You know? And I had this big crew, and the more you do, the bigger the crew gets. And we were something. We were a scourge. Big people start taking notice. And I remember she came up to me. This lovely, horrible monster who I loved so damn dearly. And she told me she was with She told me she was with child. And I remember being on my knees in front of her, astounded at the creation, and like she was a goddess. An amazing thing to behold. And I asked her, what do I do? Because I hadn't been scared in a long time, right? And everything was going to change, and I asked her, what do I do? And she looked me in the eye, and she said, be yourself. Be who you've always been. And she said it with this beautiful smile on her face, and it was oil on a fucking fire. It was ruthless. The shit I did. I wanted to see her in furs and silks. I didn't understand why she wasn't allowed to be a queen. Why she had to wear worn boots. I didn't want to see her like that or anything of mine. I wanted her comfortable and happy, and so I would do fucking anything. Mind you, the brain of a 17-year-old child. A fucking child with so much power in the goddamn woods. I did what I had to do. At least that's what I thought. That I was doing what necessary to live. To survive. I wanted to do something past survive. And of course, when you start doing that, you get big fish looking at you. And so I guess they got the eye of some mercenaries. You know, a little group of adventurers looking for coin. And his eyes kind of scanned the group for a second. And so, after a night of partying, as you do when you feel like you're on top of the fucking world, like a nightmare person, like nothing can fucking touch you. I forgot who was on watch. But I heard them shout. And I heard their crossbow go off. And I heard a voice I didn't recognize. He shot me. Move in. I don't sleep in armor. So you know. There went the big, the bad, and the powerful standing there, near naked. I lost everything I had in under a minute. Everything around me fell. Scythe to a wheat field. Everything I had known, every person I had known was gone in under a minute. And I was standing alone amongst the ruin, looking at some bitch I didn't even know. I was able to get one of theirs. The thing is, I think the fuck survived. But the person across the way, staring at me, bow drawn, looking at me like I'm fucking disgusting. Like they have the right to decide that. And one to the shoulder, one to the thigh. I don't know why. I tried to catch that fucking third one as it went for my chest, and I felt that shit dig into me, and it was darkness. I could feel the arrow in my hand, and then darkness, and I think I was happy for that. I thought I was a ghost. In the darkness. Couldn't feel anything. But I could hear them. I could hear them talking. It's okay. They shot first. The person creeping in the fucking bushes. Listen, I'm not trying to defend myself and say I was some saint. Somebody should have come out of the fucking woods and put us down. But just a group of people show up and get to decide what morality is. What suits them just fine in the moment. And we shot first. course we fucking did. And then, it's all right. They were bad people. They killed people. Surrounded by 30-odd bodies as they say this. And I think I'm a ghost here left to suffer and listen to them for eternity. And then it was quiet, as I pondered the twisting of morality. I wasn't trying to paint me like some hero, some good person. I knew what I was, and I could see it every second, every moment in this space. Why did they get to kill me? And then the quiet was replaced by pain, and I was pulled out of this state where I thought I was dead. I guess I wasn't. Fuck me. Guess I wasn't fucking dead. This terrible pain on my legs. And my eyes burning, full of soot. I was on one of these fucking pyres. Woke up to it burning. To drag myself out of that. I don't think I stopped. I remember crawling out, and it was hard to see and breathe. And I just kept walking. And walking. Because I didn't know what to do. My legs were on fucking fire. The pain. Couldn't tell you. There was still a bit of an arrow in my chest. I wasn't going to deal with that. I was walking. I made it to the road, and you'll have to take this part with a grain of salt because I wasn't in my best mind, so boss man says they stumble across me walking on the road. And, I look like a fucking corpse is how they describe it. And they ask me, "Where are you going?" And I reply to them, "I'm going to Skull City." And he says he laughed and laughed. Because Skull City was the third farthest town, city, place to get help in the area. I could have gotten to another place in a handful of hours. It was going to take days to get to Skull City. And he asked, why would I do that? And he says, I replied, I like the lights. And boy, it seems I enamored him. And I'm fucking grateful. I'm grateful that he found me. He invested in me. He hired me. I had to go through a bit of training first. He said, you have to be your best self, right? You can't have baggage going into this type of work. You can't be wandering around, hating the world, hating everyone. And you have to be able to stand up and represent another person. And that was the type of morality I could get behind. Something set. I don't have a say in it. I have the say to leave. I can leave at any time I want if the morality doesn't suit me. But it's someone else's, and it says steadfast. I can work with that. And so, I got stronger. I got better without armor because, don't get caught with your pants down twice. Every single one of these bastards here got their baggage dealt with one way or another to be here. Now, not everybody's baggage is this baggage. But, you go in with a clean slate. And so, to get the job, I was given the resources to deal with my baggage. And so I found every single one of those fuckers, and I put them in the dirt, and I set them ablaze. The last moment of my choice in morality. Well, there's actually still one. You can feel movement from Brynja, who perks up at that. That there's still one. And the thing is, that was what? At least over 10 years ago. I was a fucking child. Fucking child in the woods trying to be something. And in the moment when she told me to be myself, be as I have always been, the person I was meant to be, in the moment, what a beautiful thing. But that's what she wanted, and that's what she saw. And now that is the voice that follows me around anytime I do fucking anything. Why the fuck would I want to be that person? A scared child. A nasty fucking piece of work. And sometimes I worry, oh, is that still me? And occasionally that eats away at you a little bit, right? So you work. And you be better. And you tell a bunch of friends on the 48th hour of knowing them that you used to be a little shit. That's how my body has become a beautiful tapestry. At least the beginning of it. And I keep these so that I can remember. A different child got these injuries. A man won't be getting those. Dagson, did you show them the thing where you had the little scars on your thumb from doing the knitting? And he kind of nods very quietly. Russ goes for his third drink of the evening. Yes, Nana.
Nana, for one, doesn't want to make a production out of it, but she does want to lean over to Russ and say quietly, speaking as someone who really is not very far removed from a young, dumb child running around in the woods trying to be something, I think that you did the best that you could with what you were given. And I wish that it could have been more from the start. But I think the fact that it worries you that you might still be that person is sign enough that you've grown a lot. For what that's worth.
For what it's worth. I appreciate it. When you go through an event, such as mine, such as many others, you don't come back feeling alive. I still feel like that ghost sitting in the darkness. I am a ghost wandering the plains. Everyone on this continent is a ghost, a dead, shambling about on this corpse of a landmass. Oh, almost everyone. And you watch his eyes shift over to where Nix and Keld are sitting.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, for what it's worth, if you feel like a ghost, you might as well haunt with someone that you enjoy spending time with, no?
That kind of fucked me over last time. Listen. I don't need empathy. New person. No reason to relate to that. The thing is, if you relate to that, either way, you can tell when somebody came from shit, and I'm going to tell you, not giving me that energy. And that's lucky. And you should hold on to that and be, I wouldn't say proud, that's insane. Don't be proud of your status. Grateful is a good word.
I am. I know I'm very lucky. I came out with some advantages early in life, and that was lucky. I wish I could have, well, for what it matters, I don't think any less of anyone who didn't have those things.
Right. I'm sure you were all expecting this. I'm going to take a walk.
I think that's fair.
I'll be right back.
Enjoy your walk.
He slaps his thighs and stands up.
Mm-hmm.
Brinia, did
As
you
the
tell him about the
Midwesterners
thing?
do.
Did you tell him
There's the
about
one
the
thing.
thing where it hit you and it came back as he's like walking away? And just he goes to take a lap. He goes
Fair.
to take a moment in the woods, and you are all left with whatever feelings come from that. A person who made deplorable choices as, in his words, a child, and somebody who is different now. Depends if you believe in second chances, in that people can change. But you can see that his group, uncomfortable, you get the energy that most of the group might have known some of that story. You pick up on quick that Randall did not know any of that story. He went from his forward kind of interested position to slowly moving back and inwards, to not be like he's listening attentively like, cool story. Brinia watches him go. He really has changed for what it's worth. To some people, it's not worth much.
No, I think that it's obvious. He seems... I mean, I'm not the greatest judge of people, but he seems a good man.
I don't know if he'd take that moniker, but he does what he does.
It seems to me he cares for the lot of you in his way.
I think so. I wish he would have saved that for like the 5th night, maybe.
He seemed like he had
like
ripped the
better
bandage
night.
off energy for whatever reason. I don't know.
That's interesting. Well, I'm sure he said this part because he says it to all of us every time he tells this story. If you would like to abscond in the night, none of us are going to stop you.
We're going to the same place. Where are we going to run off to?
It would be so awkward if we wound
We'd
up
be-
just going at different paces.
We'd bump into each other every time we tried to pass one another. No, we're here together.
Yeah.
We've known much greater evil than that, with much less retribution done their way. We've got justice to deliver, but it's not against him or you. We're friends, as far as I can tell.
I think so.
Well, there's people who have worked with retribution. You are going into the lion's den. So that might be something to try and put in your cuff. Keep a straight face. Somebody will use that against you, I'm sure.
Yeah. I have to imagine there's going to be far too many folk with far too many deep ties to one another for us to be able to single out anyone to have words with without incurring some kind of retribution.
And if you like, we'll just be around town, not participating in this awful fucking party. So if you decide not to, or you can't get your invites, we'll have our own shitty little party, which probably is less upsetting to be at, from what I've heard.
Well, honestly, I want nothing to do with this shitty party, but I just want to be there for my friends. So.
There's some things I think we'll need to be there for, unfortunately. Or at least as many of us as can find purchase in.
Well, Russ said he'd try to help as best he can, and I'm sure he will.
I've no doubt of that.
Just, you know, we're not gonna tell you who we work for. You know?
I think that's fair.
Our
It's-
business is, honestly not our own.
Mm.
So we're not going to go around dropping names, even if it would get us in places easier, you know?
Of course, of course. I have to imagine discretion is part of your paycheck.
It's a pretty good paycheck, too. And benefits if you
Considering
leave.
the
so,
places it gets you entry to, I can only imagine.
yeah, maybe I should start asking for a ticket to the party. And she sort of like swings the conversation, just very, very tactfully, into
Thank God for her.
into a more of a nice equilibrium for the group at the fire. Russ has not returned.
Aw.
Is there anything
is
anybody
le-
would like to do?
Nyx is
Uh-huh.
leaving, long gone from
Yeah.
this fire.
Yeah!
Had
Go
a feeling.
find
Where you
Russ.
going, Nyx?
Go find Russ. Go find Russ.
Yeah,
It's
she's
either
gonna
that or she's
start
going the opposite direction. Unclear.
I don't
Flies
know.
away.
immediately
The
burns.
other.
Transports via plants and goes home.
The game over. New
Bye.
character. Roll stats.
Sorry,
Later,
Mom
y'all.
and Dad. I met a cute boy and he made me want to come home.
It was a bad time.
Your parents are
Hey,
like, do we
if-
get to
hey.
meet him?
Nyx, if he don't love you anymore, just walk your fine ass out the door.
Yeah.
I think she's eventually gonna go try to find him, but start just with some time by the river to calm down because she was not loudly crying, but crying during his story.
Oh.
Yeah, you take a moment to compose yourself, and it seems he needs more time to compose himself as you begin to. You saw the direction he walked off in, so you begin to make your way that way. You see that he's currently sitting at the base of a tree, with sort of like one of those, like a larger tree with the root that kind of pops out just a little bit to be just the best seat you could probably find in the woods at this point, and is just kind of sitting there, head back, eyes closed. I learned to breathe in exercises. I don't know if it's working. I kind of feel stupid.
Just sit next to him. How does it work?
Alright, so the woman who was talking to me, who was showing me this, it's supposed to be your solar panel in the middle of your chest. It's the place where the energy of the sun hits you. Yes, Russ has an int of 8. Do not speak to me or Russ ever
twins!
again.
Not correct his vocabulary. He does not care.
He does not know and does not care.
Look, she's looking for her solar panel.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the center, and you're supposed to, like, expand from there and bring in the good energy and push out the bad, and, like, what does that even look like? But, you do the breathing, and I think it's just the breathing that is the thing that's supposed to calm you down. But, it's the idea, I think, of focusing on something else. Maybe. I overreacted, right? I did a little bit of an overreaction, I think. That's what I was kind of worried about doing whenever you... He sort of runs his fingers through his hair. Like, huh. Are we good?
I'm here.
That's true. It'd be weird if you showed up just to tell me you weren't here.
They know. I could just be back home by now if I really wanted to be gone.
Magic's crazy.
Mm. Oh, come on. I think you owe me a dance lesson. One a night, right?
That does make sense. You don't want to forget your steps. Should we go back, or...
I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah.
They seemed really into those stories.
People love telling a story, don't they? All right. Come on. We don't want to be flat-footed the whole night. Let's go. And sort of pushes himself up. All right. So I showed you the steps, but the thing is, the steps are almost irrelevant because that's the bare minimum. There's like a routine. There's a whole routine. So, are you ready?
I guess so. Okay.
You've got it. And he smiles, and it's a genuine smile. And as he begins to teach you the steps of this dance, I believe that's where we're going to stop for tonight. Thank you all for watching. We really appreciate it. We love telling you a story. Russ hates telling you a story. It all balances out.
You know, don't it
yeah.
just?
Here at the Dice Cult, we got the stuff and the things and what do you know and how do you do's. If you'd like to know how the party met Russ, you can head over to youtube.com/thedicecult, where you can watch past episodes of On the Backs of Gods, one-shots. We have other D&D shows you could enjoy. For your watching pleasure, we also have Vampire the Masquerade and The Last Remaining Light, a nice little vampire story. 90% violence, 5% romance, 5% poor choices.
Oh, that's
100% poor choices. I changed this.
5% poor choices.
Yeah,
I changed it.
100% poor choices.
Zone of truth here.
Yeah.
I changed the number.
90% hyperviolence, 5% romance, 5% arson. No.
99% poor choices, 0.1% romance, which was also probably a poor choice. 100% poor choices. No good choices were made. But if you're interested in that, you can head over to YouTube. If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at The Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. I keep saying I'm going to post a picture of Russ, and then I don't, so I guess I should.
You should do it.
It's time.
Yes, I guess.
It's time.
I guess. And because
He's
you guys
monologued
did
at
your
us about his past. Now we need
your
it.
whole commercial, everybody hold up your dice, and then Katie can post the link, and we can all
Yes!
talk about how great Katie is, and blah,
I mean,
blah,
Katie's
blah. Katie's
awesome.
great and cool.
Look at these dice, dudes.
And
They so
dragons.
shiny.
Die.
My Nana ones are pretty.
If you're so inclined. Thank you all for being here. Once again, we really appreciate it. We love telling you a story. We will be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks for
night.
joining us, cultists.